Hey everyone, thanks for learning to play games. My name is Lance, and today I'm looking at a brand new game coming to Kickstarter called The Scare Factory. This is a new game by SupaR games. It is a 1 to 4 player game that takes roughly 1 to 2 hours to play, and is a fully cooperative game where all the players are working together to defeat the boss before he's able to make it into their vaults. In this video, I'm going to be playing through the game, showing you the first, middle, and end couple rounds to show you how the game plays and progresses. If you're interested in just checking out an overview video, I'll have a link up in the top corner where I'll go over the main features of the game and show you a sample turn. As always, if you find these videos helpful, if you like what I do, please consider that like button, subscribe to my channel. It's one of the easiest ways you can support channels like mine so we can continue to grow and produce this content. If you want to stay up to date on all my videos, also considering that bell so you get notifications anytime I release new content. So let's head to the table and we'll see how this one plays. Before moving into the game, there's a few other things that I want to cover. First off, all the materials you see here are prototype materials and are subject to change and will look a lot better in the final production. Another thing I'm also going to point out is that in the demo version that I have limited resources. And in the base game, you're going to get a lot more, such as the models themselves. You're going to actually get 10 of each one of the enemies as opposed to the 5 enemies I have of each of the 4 types, where there's actually 6 different types of enemies. You're also going to get some more tiles and tokens and a lot more of the cards and things like that. So I will probably run into problems later on in this game where I'm going to be limited on the amount of enemies I can put out and things like that. So just keep that in mind as you watch, as you are going to get a lot more in your copy of the game. Other than that, we're going to go ahead and move into the game, and the one thing that I'm going to do different with this one is normally I have the game all set up already, but with this one, currently there are no pre-generated scenarios, so every time you sit down and play, you actually create a new scenario and you create your own board based on a set of cards you draw, and then you're going to work together as a team of players working cooperatively to decide how you want to lay out your board. The big thing with this game is whatever enemy or whatever boss you've chosen to go up against, their goal is to make it into the vault. If this happens, then you lose immediately. So you want to kind of give yourself room between the vault and the boss tile so that you have time to deal with the boss when it comes out. So the first thing you're going to do is draw a number of cards based on the number of players that are playing. Each one of these cards is going to have a name, so the Tyrant, and it's going to list the different setup instructions for the game. So I have 2 players, I'm going to draw 2 cards. So I have the Tyrant and the Knight. So the first thing I'm going to do is combine these top values, and that's the number of tiles I'm going to place out. So I'm going to place out 10 tiles from the stack, and I can choose to place these out in any manner I want to. The only restriction is that when I place them out, the boss tile, when that is placed out, must create a pathway to the vault. You cannot have no way of getting to the vault. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and start by drawing the first tile, and it's a single room with a blue door, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. Now, let's do this. Let's do it that way. Next, it's a 2-room tile, so I'm going to go ahead and do this one. Alright, I will connect that here. Another 4-way. So that's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I got one more. And then I have this one here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So that's my 10 tiles. I'll put the rest of these off to the side. And then I'll place out my boss tiles and my 2 spawn tiles for my enemies. So are the minions. So with the boss tile, I'm going to place that. I'm going to place that one here. And then the enemy tiles, I will do the material tile up here, and the mystical tile I'll go here. Next, the characters are going to place out their tiles, so I will do my janitors up here, and I will place my chef's tile back here. We can place our characters in those tiles. And then each character is also going to draw 3 cards and place that in their 3 starting sections. This will be the different cards the player can play during their turn based on their abilities, as well as their health. So with my janitor, she has Sweep Away, nice. Consumable to get her more scare tokens, and another consumable. Over to my chef, he is going to get Fresh Meat, and a couple of consumables as well. back to my cards. The next thing is I have 3 material enemies that are going to be spawned in their location. So I'm just going to do 3 of the detectives. So they're going to go in their starting spawn location. Then underneath that is the other type of enemy, the mysticals. So I'm going to do 2 necromancers. And then finally is the boss's hit points. So with this one, you're going to place a number of cards on there in these sections based on that. So I'm going to have 15 cards out there. You'll simply just deal these out across. All right, then you can go ahead and discard these, and any other cards from the setup can be returned to the box, as you won't use those for this game. From there, then we're ready to move into the game itself, and each round is played over 3 phases. The first phase is the haunt phase, where you're going to start off by rolling the different dice for the enemies, the minions, that are currently out there. So right now I need the detective and the necromancer dice. I'll go ahead and give these a roll, and this is going to determine what these enemies do. Okay, so my necromancers are going to try to go through the red door, which currently does not lead anywhere, so they are going to stay in that room. And likewise with my detectives, they are also going to try to go through the green door, which there's no green door currently, so they are also going to just stay in that room. From there, then once all the enemies have been resolved, it'll move into the characters' turns. During the characters' turns, you can choose to activate them in any order that you want to, and when a character activates, they can perform the actions listed on their turn sequence, which is placing out a number of tokens, including scare tokens and ward tokens, using a number of cards from their thing, and triggering their special ability. So I'm going to go ahead and go first with my chef. He can place 1 scare token. He can also place 1 of any different type of token. He can use up to 2 of his cards, and he has a special ability where it allows him to cook up to 2 additional tokens from the pile. So the first thing I need to do is get some tokens. So I have to go to the vault to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and move through here. And anytime a doorway is connected by a wall, that is considered a secret passage. So characters can move through secret passages. The only restriction to this is that you cannot move through a section of wall that is connected to another wall. So if this room here was, let's say, like this, where we had the 2 walls together, you could not pass through those sections. All right, so he's going to move here. He has 5 movement points. He's going to move 1, 2, and when a character moves into the vault, they collect 1 of each one of the tokens that's out there. And then he will go 3, and he'll go ahead and place 1 token there. And then he's going to move up here for 4, and he'll go ahead and place 1 token there. He's also going to do a cook action, his special ability, to get 2 new tokens. So he's going to go ahead and gain a severed finger and those chains again. So he has all 5 of the different tokens. He's going to finish his move by moving here. Now he could use a card, but right now his cards don't really have anything that's going to help him. He does have a passive ability that he could use, but he needs to move into the enemy space to be able to trigger that. And so at this point, he is not going to do that. So then we're over to the janitor to go, and she gets to place up to 3 tokens. So first off, again, we have to gain those tokens. So we're going to move into here and get all the different tokens. And then she'll go ahead and move here for her second move. Her third move, she's going to move up, and she'll place 2 of those tokens. And then she's going to trigger her sweep ability. This is going to allow her to move up to, or move all the tokens in her tile to an adjacent tile that is not occupied by enemies. From there, then she is going to, let's see, 1, 2, 3. So she can move 1 more space if she wanted to. I'm going to go ahead and place 1 last token there. And I am also not going to use her abilities just yet. So at this point, then we move into the end of the round. If any enemies had triggered any scare tokens, we will resolve the effects of those. The boss is going to move 1 space down on his arrival track, and we have to spawn some new enemies. So again, we're going to go over to the spawn cards, which again, in the base game, there's going to be a lot more of these than the ones that I have. And I'm going to deal 1 of those per character's playing, so I'll resolve 2 of those. So the first one is 3 fortune tellers. So they're going to come out and they'll be placed in the mystic spawn point. Now, anytime there are 5 or more enemies in there, then you have to perform an immediate investigate, which means the enemy is going to move by the shortest path to the closest character. So in this situation, we have 2 pathways that one of our enemy minions can take. If an enemy is investigating and they move into a space with scare tokens, then they immediately remove one of those tokens, but if there's other tokens there, then they'll trigger those. I don't really want to do that just yet, so I'm going to move one of the enemies into that room instead. Then I'll go again, and we have 2 more detectives. So again, they're going to be placed here, and again, they'll trigger, so they're going to move 1 space into that room. Once that is done, then we'll move into a new round, starting again with the haunt phase. So let me take you through one more example round, and then we'll go ahead and do a couple rounds off camera. So again, moving into this phase, I'm going to go and gather those dice, and this time I have the fortune tellers as well. Okay, so the fortune tellers are going to move into the green rooms. So these 2 will go into here with the other one. She is not going to move as that is a locked room. And then we have the detectives that are going to go red. So this guy is going to go through the red door. And these guys, again, are going to stay in that room. Finally, the necromancers are going to investigate. So in this situation, I am going to move them forward instead, again, because it's the shortest path to the character. So anytime that's equal, I get to choose. So I'm going to move them into here. I do have to choose one of those tokens to be removed because of the effect, but then they are going to get scared as there's tokens still in there. So when they get scared, I'm going to choose one of those tokens and set it off to the side. And then I'm going to roll the scare die and determine where they're going to go from there. It is through the blue door, and since there is no blue door, they stay in that room and they get scared again, triggering that second token. And then again, I roll, and it's the green door, so they're going to move back 1 space. And there's a couple of other effects with that I'll show you as time goes on. If we do a chain scare, which means that I've scared them 3 times, so if they would have moved forward instead to this square, then they would run away and be removed from the board entirely, which was what I was kind of hoping for, but it did not work out. All right, so I've resolved all of the enemies, so now it is time again to resolve or go into my character's turns. So with that, I'm going to go with the cook again, and he is going to, he will move 1, 2, and I'm going to go ahead and try to do the fresh meat. So it says once during your turn, move into an enemy space and roll the action die. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So I was here, 1, 2, 3. Then I'm going to roll the action die and determine what happens. And it's a hit, which means that the enemies are going to run away. So I get to choose where they run to, so I'll send them into this room here. From there, then, I am going to place, I'm going to place this one here, and let's do this one here. Then I have 2 movement points left, so I'm going to go 1, 2. Okay, then his turn is done as I don't have anything else to do at the moment. So then we're going to go to the janitor. So she can place, well, with him before I do that, let me go ahead and activate those to get some tokens again. So I'm going to get those tokens right back that I used. And then moving over to my janitor, she is going to, let's see, I will place a couple of tokens, and then I'll do a sweep action to move these forward. I'm going to go ahead and play 1 card. This lets me get 3 more chain tokens, so this will be discarded to her area, and she'll gain 3 scare chains. I'm going to place one of those in her room, so that's her 3rd token that she's placed. I've done her special ability. And with the fortune tellers, I'm going to go ahead and use this. It says move a minion or player in an adjacent tile away from you by 1 tile. So I'm going to move them back into this tile here. From there, then she is going to move. I'll move her back 1 space. All right, so at this point, then again, it's going to move into the end of the round step. The boss will move forward 1 space again. I'm going to resolve my scare tokens. So for each scare token that I have here, I get to choose one of the characters to draw a new card from their hands. So I'm going to do the janitor first for sure, as she spent that 1. So now she has a caution sign. And I think I'll go again. Well, let's do 1 with the chef as he's in front. And he's got Chop Chop, so he gets to choose where to place that. Only the active cards are going to matter, so I'm going to go ahead and place it over that one. And so this is all I can use. I can never use cards underneath this. So then that is resolved. And then for each one of these tokens, I'm going to remove a boss's hit point underneath that scare symbol. So he's going to lose 1 there and 1 under the severed limb. Then these will be returned to the supply. Finally, I'll go ahead and spawn some new enemies. So we have 3 outlaws, and they will go into this section as well, which again, they're going to immediately investigate. So I have to remove one of those tokens. So remove the chains, and then they're going to be scared. And then we have the necromancers. So we have 3 necromancers, which again, they are going to trigger as well. So I'm going to move them into here. And these will be discarded. And then I'm going to go ahead and handle the Outlaw's Scare. So we'll go ahead and move this in there. And it is a multicolor, so they have to be moved, but I get to choose where to move them. So of course I'm going to move them forward 1 space so that they get scared again. And then I'll roll 1 more time. And it's another multicolor, so again, they have to move, but I get to choose the location, so I am going to move them into here, which they have that 3rd token. So at this point, then they have been scared by a chain scare, and they're going to run away. Okay, so at this point, then we're going to go ahead and move into a new turn where we're going to go ahead and start off with the haunt phase. So at this point, I'm going to take a couple turns off camera, and then we'll come back and see how our players are doing. All right, so we're back, and at the end of the last round, the boss was going to move, so he is actually going to move onto his boss spawn point. And then there's a special reaping step that takes place where we're going to reveal each one of the boss's cards and resolve its effects. So the first one is, when this boss card is revealed, each material minion moves 1 room towards the nearest player. All right, so we have these guys here, they're going to move forward. And these guys that are moved forward. And then they're going to be scared. So we have to work on that. So then let's go ahead and do the next one. We'll resolve that after. Then we have new hires. The boss card is revealed, spawn 2 material minions. So we'll go ahead and place these guys out. Next, we have promotion. Whenever a material minion attacks a player, they must discard 2 player cards. Nasty. We have Gold Rush. The boss will investigate at the start of their turn. So that's not good. We got to take care of that one quick. And the last one is Scram again. The boss card is revealed. The boss moves 1 room towards the nearest player. So he's going to move right away. Okay, then we are moving into the round. So the haunt phase is going to take place. And the boss is going to move twice, and he's going to be triggered first. Before he does, let's go ahead and take care of the scare tokens. So with these material minions, first, we have a wild, so they can go anywhere, but they must move. So I'm going to go ahead and move them forward, and I'll go ahead and use this token here. Then we have the detectives that are going to go blue. They are going to bounce off of that, and then we have to choose the direction they go. So I am going to go ahead and move them down. So first off, they get that one, and now they're going to be scared again. And it is red, so they're going to stay in that room, and that will be their 3rd scare token, and so they have been eliminated. They've ran away. All right, so at this point then, right away, our boss is going to investigate for his first action, so he moves and destroys that token, and then his second one, he's going to go ahead and roll his die as normal. And it is red, so he is moving forward again. So 2 more spaces, and he is going to win the game, so we better Better hopefully we can stop that. So next then I'm going to roll the dice for the enemies, and we have all 4 different types of enemies out right now. So we have a lot of green here. Wow. Okay, first off, let's handle the fortune tellers. So they are going to stay in that zone, and then these will move into that zone. So then they are going to immediately investigate. So I'm going to move them forward 1 space. That's all our fortune tellers. The necromancers are going to go red. There is no red space for that one. This guy cannot go this way, and this guy will move there. That takes care of them. We have the detectives going green, so this guy will move back. That one moves back. And those are the only detectives out. And then we have the outlaws. The outlaws are also going green, so he's going to move. These guys will stay in there. And that's it for them. So the enemies are not going where I was hoping they would go. But then it is into our players' turns. So I'm going to go ahead and go with my chef first. He's going to... What do I want to do? Actually, I think I'm going to go with my janitor first this time. So she's going to go ahead and place out, she'll move here, and then she's going to trigger her sweep way. Well, that doesn't work for the boss. Well, maybe not then. Let me see, what do I want to do here? So I'm going to go ahead and use this one, the caution sign. This says that I can place a ward token on each exit of a tile you're currently occupying. So I'm going to go ahead and place 2 ward tokens on those locations there. And then that'll be discarded. From there, she will go ahead and I'm going to move up 1. Or actually, I'm going to move back 1, and then I'll go ahead and place 2 tokens there. And I think I'll use I already used the card, so I can't do another one. And, well, I might as well place all 3 tokens out. So that'll take care of her turn. With my fresh meat, I will... Let's see. Well, first, let me do this. I'm going to go 1, 2. And I will place ooze out. Then I'm going to do my chop, and this says that I get to duplicate each scare token on a tile. So I'm going to go ahead and add additional ones to that tile of each type. Then, so that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll do the fresh meat as my passive. Again, I get to roll that scare die. And it's a critical, so enemy becomes scared. So they're going to run, and they're going yellow, so I get to choose where they go. And so they're just going to... I don't want them there, so I'm going to go ahead and move them in here. They are going to destroy that ward, and then they're going to get scared again. And it's red, so they're going to come back into this space here and destroy that ward token. So when they destroy a ward token, so I could have chosen to have them go anywhere else. Well, I could actually have them go forward because he scared them, then they moved into there, got scared. So that'll actually be the 3rd chain. So I think I'll do that instead. I'll move them forward, and then they'll run away from that scare chain. And I get that as well. And I think that might be it for my abilities. And I'm going to go ahead and place out a token here. And I'm going to go ahead and use my ability to create new tokens. So I'm going to get a ward, and I'll take another ooze. All right. So then we're into the ends of the round. So at this point, we get to resolve this first. So I'm going to go ahead and draw a card, a couple cards for my janitor. And then I'm going to go ahead and draw some cards for my chef as well, as he is in some trouble there. He's got a lot of enemies around him. So I don't want that to happen. I don't want him to go down just yet. And let's do this one here. All right, so that takes care of that, and then we'll go ahead and remove these. So first off, we have a severed limb, so that removes the last hit point there, so nothing new gets revealed. Otherwise, we would have revealed a new card and resolved its effects. I have 3 chains, so I'll go ahead and remove both of these, and I don't even have to resolve the second one as I have another one there, but the third one is wasted as I didn't have any more for that. I have an ooze, so that'll take care of that one, and I have a piece, the wood. So then we have a new token or a new card that's going to be revealed. So real estate. When this boss card is revealed, place 1 new room and then spawn a minion onto each room. All right, so I definitely don't have the minions or enough minions for that, but I'm going to go ahead and place out a new room. And I will go ahead and put that one here. Let's do like that. And then we have some minions, so let's go ahead and do and not the spawn rooms. Okay, so from here, then the boss is already out, so we don't have to worry about resolving that anymore. And we do have some spawn cards to resolve, so we have a necromancer. So I'm just going to put out a fortune teller instead, as I don't have any more necromancers, and 2 outlaws. So I'm just going to put out a detective instead again, since I don't have those models. And again, to remind you, there are going to be 10 models of each of the enemy types, so you're not going to run into these kind of problems. All right, so from here, I'm going to go ahead and move into a new round. So right away, my boss gets to go first, and he's going to roll the dice twice, as that ability is gone now, so we don't have to worry about that effect. And neither one of these have, I think, any lasting effects. These were just a one and done. Yeah, so we just are going to handle his movement twice. So first one, he is going to go green, so he ended up deciding to move backwards. And the second one is an investigate. So investigate, he's going to move towards a character, so he's just going to move right back into the room he was in. Then we have the enemies, and there's a ton of them here, so let's see what happens. And we have, let's do the outlaws first. They're going to go red. So he is going to move, destroys that ward token, and then we can choose which room he moves into. So I'm going to move him up instead. And the other guy would go red, so he cannot move up. Then I have this one here. He's going to move forward. And we have this one, which will stay in there. So that'll take care of the outlaws. We have detectives that are going to go green. So that one will stay. This one would move back. This one moves here. And that is all of the detectives, as these 2 will stay in there as well. We do have 5 models in there, so I'm going to choose one to move back out into that space. Next, we have the necromancers. They're going to go multicolor, so I get to choose the path, but they have to move. So I'm going to move him forward. I will move him up, and I have these 3. So I'm going to go ahead and move them forward and start to do a scare. All right, and then let's see where they go. They are going yellow, so they're just going to go right back out of there. I scared them too much. So that is the necromancers. There was just yeah, okay. And then finally we have the fortune tellers. So again, they have to move. So I am going to move them forward. They get scared. Let's see where they go. They're going to go yellow, so that means they're going to stay in that room, and they will attack my character. So each one of them I have to roll the action die for to determine what they do. So it's a hit, so I lose 1 card. So I'll take care of that one. The next one is nothing, so I don't lose anything. She missed. And the last one is another one, so I have to choose another card to lose. All right, not too bad. And then she has to move as well, so I'll move her forward. And that is it for the enemies. So now it's over to our characters to go. I have that, so I just need to get some of the wood planks. I have a couple up there. My characters are on the ropes. So that's ward tokens. So I'm going to go ahead and go with my guy here. And I'm going to use the fresh meat once per turn. As I'm already in a space with enemies, I'm going to go ahead and roll that hit die and see what happens. And it's a critical, so the enemies become scared. So they're going to move. I'm going to move them up. That'll trigger their second scare. So let's see what happens then. Oh, wrong die. This one. It's yellow, so they're going to stay in that area. All right. And then I'm going to go ahead and generate some tokens. So I'm going to get 2 of the wood planks. I'll move 1 there. I'm going to go ahead and trigger my chop chop to duplicate that. And then I am going to go ahead and investigate a new room, as I haven't shown that yet. So anytime you want to, you can move through a doorway that leads nowhere and place a new room that you draw from the deck. Now, once you do that, you have to choose to either leave your character in the room you're currently in or move to that new room, and then your turn ends immediately. So I wouldn't be able to do any other actions at that point. So I had 1 more token I could place out, but unfortunately, because I did that, I won't be able to do that. So then finally it's over to my janitor to go. So she's going to move up, and she's going to do her sweep away. This is a passive move, so she's going to sweep minions away from her 1 space, which is going to trigger a scare. So right away I'm going to take that wood plank, and then we're going to go ahead and roll and see where they go. They're going to go blue, which there is no blue door. So again, they're going to stay in there. Take a second one. And, well, actually, I'm going to take the ghost's face instead, and then we'll roll again, and they're going to go green. There is no green door, so I'll take that, and they are going to run away. From there, I will go ahead and move forward 1. And I'll get this card here to get some tokens. And I'm going to go ahead and place out some of those to help protect her. At this point, my character's turns are done. I don't have anything else I really want to do, so we'll move into the last step of the phase to resolve these effects. So first off, I do have that wood plank that'll take care of that one. And I do have the ghost tokens to remove those too. So at that point, the boss has been defeated as he is out of cards, and so we don't have to resolve anything else. So as you can see though, I mean, this was really close. The boss was right there, a couple good rolls or investigate, and he would have won the game. And the enemies were bearing down on us. We were scurrying around trying to scare them, but they were just not being scared enough. And they were closing us in. So, but we did have some options still. We were able to move around, open up some new rooms and that, and be able to use some of our special abilities to do some different stuff as well. Well, I hope you found the video helpful. If you have any questions or comments, leave those in the comments section below and I'll do my best to answer them. Or swing by the Kickstarter's main page and drop any questions you have there as well. I'm sure the creators would love to hear from you and are more than happy to answer any questions you have. Until next time, I'll see you later.